Hello and welcome to Zen and the Art of the Guardian Sudoku puzzle for Sunday, the 14th of February. That's Valentine's Day, if that means something to you. I've just come back from a wedding, which seems like an auspicious time for somebody to get married, and jolly nice it was too. I haven't really had a chance to see much news today. I did notice that Donald Trump has escaped his impeachment as 99.9% of the entire world predicted, not because he's innocent, just because there is no backbone amongst the Republicans, senators, I should say. Anyway, we'll forget him for now. Let's just crack on with our Sudoku because it's quite late, and of course, today is a Sunday, and so it means there's no Guardian today. So this is from the Observer, and the Observer does not say whether it's Sudokus are hard, medium, easy, or expert. So you could come from any level. Before we begin, I'll just quickly run down the rules, and I'll try to give a level, my own level, when we finish. If we finish, of course, I'm being optimistic, as I usually am. You can notice that in each segment here, you need numbers 1 to 9. We have a 9 too, so no 9 or 2 can come here or here. What we don't have is 1 and 3, okay, and 5, etc. must fit in here. We need numbers 1 to 9 in each column, and we need numbers 1 to 9 in each row. That's the entirety of the rules of Sudoku, but how we arrive at these numbers is due to a logical process. For example, when we notice that there is a 4 in this row already, it means it eliminates any other squares from being a 4. So a 4 can't appear here or here. Excuse me. When we have a 4 in this column here, it eliminates these two squares from being 4, and yet we don't have a 4 in this segment. So since 4 is blocking these two, there's only one place a 4 can go. Can you see the same thing with a 3? Can you see that this 3 in this column eliminates this square and this square, and yet we don't have a 3 in this segment yet, so a 3 will have to appear in the top right of that segment, like so. There are two missing numbers there, a 1 and a 5, but we don't know where they go for the moment, so we won't worry too much about that just yet. We'll come back to that later. And just cast your eyes around the puzzle, looking for anything that jumps up at you. And how do we do that? We can look along the rows and columns. For example, when you look along this column up here, you see a 3 going up and a 3 going up here like this, and a 3 across this top row. You can see that this top row is blocked, this column is blocked, and that leaves just a 3 to go here. Now that we've filled in that 3, we've given ourselves a slightly better chance of finding other 3s, and in fact when we extend this 3 back along this row and this 3 across this row, so blocked, and this 3 in this column that we filled in earlier, we'll see blocked here as well. So blocked, and blocked. There's only one location for a 3 in this row, okay, in this segment here. This 2 comes across this row, 2 comes across this row, so blocked, and in this segment that means there's only one square left, and we don't have a 2 yet, so let's fill it in. It goes there. I never look at these puzzles before I begin, so I've absolutely no idea how easy or difficult it's going to be until we really get stuck into it. I have a feeling this one might offer some challenges, but most Sudokus are solvable with a bit of patience, I think. Okay, I'm still looking for easy numbers before I start doing any other kind of techniques or anything that needs to be done. Okay, in this row we have 3 missing numbers. 3 squares, 3 numbers are missing. We'll find out what they are. 1 is missing. 2, 3, 4, 5 we have. 6 is missing, and 9. So 1, 6 and 9 are the missing numbers. But we have a 6 intersecting with this square here, eliminating a 6 from being here, and a 6 intersecting with this square here, eliminating that square. So blocking and blocking. So a 6 will have to appear here like so. The 2 numbers missing are 1 and 9, but again we can't tell at the moment which is which, so we'll just forget that for the moment and focus our attention somewhere else. It's a bit noisy outside. There seem to be children playing today. It's probably because it's a Sunday evening. The sun is shiny here. I know in London it's very cold, or was yesterday when I spoke to somebody back in London and mentioned how horrible the weather has been, so my apologies. I'm not trying to make you feel jealous, but I would say that the temperature here is just about perfect. I think I'm going to have to start filling in candidates. Now I was trying to leave this as long as possible, but I think it's pointless to be desperately trying to hold on as long as possible when there will be some better alternatives, right? I mean, let's think about life. No point in doggedly doing something when it's not to your own benefit eventually. You can see you have to give up. So what are we going to do? Well, what we're going to do is fill in pairs of numbers. For example, here and here there are 2 squares missing in this segment. As I mentioned before, they are 1 and 5. So I'm going to put in 1 and 5, and we call these candidates if you're a beginner. That means these are numbers that can go in these squares and nowhere else. Now we know also that 1 and 5 are blocking anything on this column. Both 1 and 5 are blocked. Now that we know that, we can see 5 is blocking down here. Now we have a 5 in this row and a 5 in this row, so we can fill in another pair of candidates here like this. Okay, and we can see 1 is blocking this row and 1 is blocking this row, so the same rows are blocked, and remember, same column is blocked. So we have a pair down here. Now this is more useful than that. That was the last 2. Those were the last 2 squares, the last 2 cells. But these 2 now are a pair that cannot be anything else. So when we're looking for other numbers, we can forget 1 and 5. And if it's, for example, a 7, we know that a 7 can't go here. Nothing else can go here except 1 and 5. And so that's very useful for us when we're trying to find out the logic. Okay, so for example, the 4, this 4 here, which blocks this column, and the 4 which blocks this column, okay. Now, previously, we would have understood that the 4 blocking this row, we would have had 2 squares where we could have put 4. Do you understand that? Blocking down, and blocking across. Well, we would have had 2 squares, but now we know that that has to be a 1 or a 5. Well, that means there is only 1 square a 4 can appear now. So we can fill that in. That's the kind of usefulness of these pairs. I will also, since we've filled in this 4 now, I'm going to fill in this pair of 4s down here. I am filling in candidates now. As I said though, I'm really focusing on pairs. There's an 8 in this column, and there's an 8 in this row. So up here, there must be a pair of 8s also. Or this 8 here extends across this row, and there's an 8 down here, like so, leaving us a pair of 8s there. There's an 8, this same 8 down this column, and there's an 8 in this row, this middle row of this segment here. So 8s have to appear here like so. And when we extend these across and this 8 across, and we see there's an 8 in this column, an 8 in this column, there is only one square left for an 8 to go. What's an 8 to do? It's to go there. And let's just keep going with our pairs, I think. So there's a 6 in this row, 6 in this row, and a 6 in this column. So blocking, blocking, blocking. So a pair of 6s can go here. This is again going to be a very similar to our 5 and 1. We're going to have a 6 and 4 here because we have a 6 in this row across, 6 in this column, so blocked and blocked. So we have a 4 and a 6, and the same thing applies as just applied here. It means that these numbers must be anything else except 4 or 6. So if we've got anything intersecting, we can see what they are. Okay, so 2. We haven't got a 2 in this segment yet. There's a 2 blocking here, a 2 blocking here. Before we got this, we would have had 2 squares where 2 could appear, but now we know that that has to be a 4 or 6. We can fill in our 2 here. Okay. It's a good idea to keep moving your eyes around the grid. Don't get stuck in one location. Okay, so 7 is in this row here, right across. So it blocks this row right across, if you think about the whole row. Now, in this segment, since we know that it blocks these 3 squares, and we already have numbers in these 3 squares, we know that it's going to be somewhere along here. Now, we can't tell where. We can't find a pair here because we don't have any other intersecting 7s, but we know it's got to be one of these 3 squares. And when we put that back again and focus on this segment here, so 7 is in this line, 7 is in this row, and there's a 7 in that column, well, that has to be a 7. And that will help us down here, of course, because now we know that that can't be a 7, and 7 has to appear here. This is a 4 or 6, 7 blocks here, so our 7 will go here. There's one remaining square, number, sorry, and that's 9, and we can fill in the 9 there. Now that we have our 9 in this row, you see how, when you fill in these numbers, your options become more limited. The places where you can fill in numbers becomes more limited. So this 9 goes across in the same way that we just did with this 7, right? Think about the 9 coming across this row, and therefore we know that 9 has to appear somewhere down here. Do we have enough any intersecting 9s to give us a pair? No, but we know it's got either here, here, or here, so we have these 3 squares. So we bring it back, and now we're focusing on this segment here. So this 9 goes right the way across. 3 9s in these possible position come here, so blocking and blocking, and we have a 9 in this column blocking here. So our 9 has to go in the only available square for it, which is there. Now we are overwriting an 8, and so we can fill in the 8 because we know that's part of a pair. We can find actually, let's look at this 8 up here. Okay, there's an 8 in this column, an 8 in this column, and 8 in this row, and this row. We still don't have an 8 in this column yet, so blocking, 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 and blocking. Only one place we can put it. Still haven't got any idea of the level yet. The classification of whether it's an easy, medium or hard. I may not be able to tell until we're actually finished, because sometimes you get to the point in a puzzle where you think, oh great, it's going to be a very easy to solve, and then you get stuck and you need some kind of advanced technique. That may well happen yet. I have no idea. I try not to stay silent for too long. Well, okay, there's a pair of threes here, so this 3 across this row and 3 in this column, right? Blocking here and blocking here, so 3s make a pair here and here, and likewise here and here, because there's a 3 along this bottom row, 3 in this column, so that has to be a pair of 3s there. Fives, there's a 5 in this column, 5 in this column, leaving these two squares as possible squares for a 5. And I think I'm going to have to start going to candidates of that are more than simply pairs. I think we get to the point when that's just not enough. So we need to start filling candidates that can be in more locations than simply 2. So this is more advanced. Usually if you just solve it with a few pairs like this, that means that's an easy level puzzle. If you need to fill in more candidates than that, that's putting up towards a more medium or possibly hard, or you could even be expert, I don't know yet. So let's do that. So I'll just begin by filling in oh that's okay, I've seen something already. I've seen this as a 2. It has to be a 2 because we know a 2 can't appear here or here, right? In this column we are lacking 1, 5 and 2, and we know this is a 1 or 5, so we can eliminate this square already, leaving these 2. So we have 1, 5 or 2, but it can't be a 2. Actually, it can't be a 2 or a 5. Alright, so there's no 2. Okay, 1, 2 and 5 are the missing numbers here. There's no 2 here, no 5 here, because these intersecting numbers are blocking it, so it's got to be a 1. And we also know that this has to be a 2, and we also know this has to be a 5. Okay, and that's our 1 there. And in this segment here now, 2 is up here, because we have this 2 running across, 2 going up this column, so 2 has to go there. We'll bring that down, all the way down this column, 2 down this column, we'll see 2 has to go here, and we know that was part of a pair of 8s. Now that we've filled in that 8, we can go up here like this, so we can remove this candidate 8 here from a pair, right? That no longer can exist. Our 8 has to go there. The 2 missing numbers in this column are 7 and 9. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't have 7, we have 8, we don't have 9, but we can see a blocking 7 here. So 7 has to appear here and 9 has to appear here, like so. I think the game is going to be relatively easy. I was making it more difficult than I thought. So 9 across here, there's a 9 in this row across here. So blocking here, that's our 9. There's 1 number left to go in this row, it's a 9, so we can fill that in. There's 1 number left now in this segment, and it's a 1, so we can fill that in. Okay, where to go next? I have a feeling it's going to be pretty easy to continue now. Sevens. Okay, let's bring the 7 across here. I'm leaving a pair of 7s here or here. 1, there's a 1 in this column here, leaving possible 1 here or here as a pair. Down here. Okay, we don't yet have a 9, and there's a 9 in this row blocking these 2 squares, and so 9 will come here. There's only one number missing here, which is 7. I'll fill it in, although the puzzle is almost solved now. The 7 we can bring back across here and understand that it blocks these 2 squares, so 7 comes down here. There are 2 numbers missing here, which are 2 and 6, right? We don't have a 2 or a 6, but this 2 stops a 2 from appearing here. So 2 goes there, 6 goes there. What are the 2 missing numbers in this column? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have 5 or 7. Okay, so 5 and 7 have to come here or here. And guess what? We have an intersecting 7. So 7 appears in the top square. The other number was 5. We'll fill that in now. There are 2 numbers missing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 we don't have yet, and 9 we don't have yet. 6 can't appear here because of this 6 in the same row. So 6 goes there, 9 goes there. There is only 1 number missing in this row. It's a 1, so we can fill that in immediately. Now that we do that, let's bring the 1 down in this column, and there's a 1 in this column already, so blocking these 2 squares, blocking this square, that's our 1. We're overwriting a 6, so 6 has to appear down here. When we bring the 6 down, we know 6 can't appear here now. It was a pair, 4 or 6, so that has to be 4. And that has to be 6. We are missing 4 in this segment. 4 is blocked in 2 ways. It's blocked from this row, also this column, so 4 must go here. 1 remaining number is 5 in this segment, so we can fill that in. We had a pair, 1 or 5 down here, didn't we? So 5 can't exist here. That has to be a 1. That has to be a 5. We had a pair over here of 5s along in this column, so the 5 will be here. We're overwriting a 3, hope you noticed that, so we'll just fill in the 3. We're overwriting a 1, so the 1 will be here, and the 7 will be here. That works out nicely. 7 down here, 3 or 7. It has to be a 3. That has to be a 7. Just 3 numbers left, which we can work out because we just can go through the cycle, count through the numbers in the columns. The missing numbers are 4. First missing number in this column. 5 is the next one missing. You see there's a 5 in this column here, blocking there, and 9 is the last number. I'm going to say that's an easy puzzle, or possibly medium. I'm not sure exactly how they classify these things. Easy to medium, something like that. I hope you understood. It was a fairly simple puzzle, straightforward puzzle to understand. I hope you got the idea of it. Be back tomorrow morning with the Guardian. Thank you. Bye.